Hey folks, so like I promised, a little overview video about this new guy here, 770CF ZT. Really love the design from the first moment I've seen it on the Blade Show last year. Just super light. It has that, what do they call it? Internal? I'm not sure. This is like a liner lock, but it's actually just like tiny little liner inside, and it's sprung. Really cool idea, makes everything really lightweight, and I'm a fan. I like to see companies trying this new stuff, trying these new things. I think it's excellent. Cool, very cool pivot, kind of like, you know, custom pivot, which I normally don't care, but I mean, I'll admit it looks better, but me personally, I really don't care if a knife that I carry has, you know, some fancy pivot or just regular basic pivot like this. I really don't care, you know. It only makes the price of a knife more expensive if you know, when it comes to the custom knives, if you have to deal with getting something like that done. And stuff like that is not cheap unless you do it in larger quantities. And so it's one of those things that I really don't care. I'd rather have it small and do something actually with my hands, you know, like some kind of pattern on the titanium. But you know, it's cool, it's really cool looking, good looking. I like it. Extremely comfortable pocket clip. ZTs, even the big one, they have very comfortable pocket clip, at least for my hands. I really don't feel them. Just like on my folders, it's just a simple design, narrow, not too long, not too tall. You see, even this tip here, the tip that makes the stuff slides underneath it, doesn't stick out too much. So it's very comfortable, you know, it's very unobtrusive for my hand. Very positive lock, you know, like you have the nice deep finger choil, nice thumb ramp, good comfortable handle. Even in the, you know, like a chest lever grip this way, it's still comfortable enough that this doesn't really interfere with my hand. So really nice, really like it. Very nice little detail is the pocket, the back spacer on this. Really like that. So it's, you know, it's chamfered on the inside, so it creates this illusion of it's almost like a floating, and it has this kind of like a big gear pattern in it. I think it's a really nice touch. I would guess that it's aluminum, anodized aluminum, that's just guessing. Also nice touch is the little back spacer, the standoff. It's kind of like a lanyard loop, you know, you can put your lanyard around it, and you have plenty of space around, you know, so the blade wouldn't cut it. So I like that a lot, nice little touch. Similar kind of thing like you have in the front for stopping. Beautiful stone wash on the blade, beautiful blade shape. I love it. Always been a fan of the, you know, the matrix, mini matrix, 777, 770. I always like that. And forget about all the drama about who stole from who. I mean, my opinion about it, if you ask me, the guy sold it to two companies. Otherwise, you know, there will be lawsuits and I don't know what else. You know, you have just the fan bases fighting each other who stole what. I just think that, you know, two companies bought the same design from one maker and they make their versions of it. Who cares really? People like, you know, I think it's silly to fight about stuff like that. One thing I'm not the biggest fan of is, I mean, it's LMAX. I love LMAX. LMAX, if it's done properly, which heated shouldn't be an issue. I think it's a lot of the time with the ZTs and other companies when they had problems was the post heat treat final sharpening when they overheat the edge. I think that's the issue of many times, because when you resharpen it over and over, it will reach that optimal performance of the steel. But what I don't like really, and I think it's a problem. I'm gonna call it a problem. I do understand it though when it comes to the company knives, you know, like production knives. It's ground pretty thick. For nice and slim, lightweight knife like this, like optimal EDC, I personally would like it a lot thinner behind the edge than this is. It's actually, let me grab calipers so I can measure it for you real quick. Not the best calipers, but they will do. So that's about 30 thousandths behind the edge, that's a lot for this. You know, my big, you know, 2-pound chopper Excalibur, they have smaller bevels than this. But so that's kind of like my grudge. But like I said, I actually understand it when it comes to the production knives, because these are knives that anybody will buy. You know, regular Joes that not this per se, but a lot of other ones. You know, people that don't care how they use it, they abuse it big time. So, you know, they kind of play it safe, because they know that if they would grind those knives as thin as I grind mine, a lot of people would destroy them because they don't know how to use them. And you know, I mean, I've seen it around me, people that are not really knife people, but they do carry and use knives, they abuse them, they really put it, you know, put it through hell and back. So I understand that. And I mean, for me, obviously it's not a big deal to change it, but we'll see what I'm gonna do with this one. It is a spring assisted, this knife, so flies out. But I think I've mentioned this before when I was looking at this knife with Jennifer at the Kershaw table, the Kershaw booth last year at the blade. There is a detent ball and everything, so as many other Kershaw and ZT knives, especially Kershaws, to my experience, it's no problem to remove the torsion bar from it and just make it regular manual flipper. The question is how well it's gonna flip if you remove the torsion bar, if it's gonna depend only on the detent and the smoothness of it. That's the only question. We'll see. It doesn't feel like it's very smooth. It's actually pretty pretty, not gritty, but pretty tight. So it probably won't be a really good flipper without that spring assist. But I think a lot of things could be altered. Another thing, what I want to point out is kind of same thing. It's not as bad as it was on the 777. If you remember when I did the little overview video about the 777, one thing I've noticed was that stop pin is set only in the carbon fiber. Now in this case, it is set in the carbon fiber of the full thickness of the scales, so it's not as bad. If you remember on the 777, it was at the tapered, really small, thin carbon fiber, you know, part of scale. So this one is set in a pretty decent chunk of carbon fiber, but still it's only carbon fiber. I think they, you know, to make it ZT and kind of to stand up for their name and everything, since they're doing this, you know, heavy duty sticker grind, and you know what I mean, like ZT is, I think they could bring up it has a little internal liner for the washers and everything, the tiny little piece of, I would guess stainless steel. I don't know if we can pick it out there. Oh, there, you see there, and I think it goes actually back. Does it? Let me see off the camera. Oh no, it doesn't go back. It goes about here, this way here, and then there are actually little nuts set for the pocket clip. So I think they could bring out that little tiny steel liner actually all the way to the stop pin, because the stop pin is what stops everything. It takes all the forces from cutting in open and then also in the closed position. It's closed, it's pushing on it, but mainly open. So you know, every single thing what you push against, it just goes straight to that pin and straight to the carbon, not the internal scales. So it's just the carbon fiber dealing with all the pressures. It's strong, carbon fiber is strong, but still I think it could be made better. Another little thing I noticed, it's really cool carbon fiber. It looks like it's lightly blasted, because it has a little bit of a texture to it, and everywhere, even on the corners, you can kind of see it. It's not a heavy blast, but I think it's slightly little blast. There's a little imperfection, which you actually see very often. If you work with carbon fiber, you kind of see that often. It's the way the weaves, the layers of the carbon fiber are almost never perfect. Like really like perfect. So if you take a piece like that and you try to sand it evenly, you're not gonna have this perfect uniformity all across. And you can kind of see there the slight little, there was a weave, which is normal, like I said, but it would be kind of nice if, I actually think that might be one of the reasons why Spyderco is doing the fake carbon fiber, that they put one perfect layer on the top of G10 or whatever the other material is, and that's how they achieve the perfect look on it. So it's might be actually one of the reasons. I just realized that. So that's maybe something what might throw off some people, not me really. It is really nice carbon fiber. I think it has a really nice weave to it, good lighting. I'm not sure if this is one by one weave or which one, but I like it. Nice simple chamfer, nothing crazy, but because the knife is nice and slim, it's comfortable even with that very basic chamfer. Inside corners could be slightly more rounded. They are actually just 90 degrees, so it's kind of sharp, but most people wouldn't even kind of realize it. But you know, there are people like me, Cliff Sam, Kylie. It kind of bugs me when I see that it's not rounded or not even like even the basic kind of knock of the edge on the inside, because sometimes you just grab it and you feel it. It is kind of uncomfortable, and especially when you squeeze on something, you're gonna feel it. But most people don't pay, wouldn't really care about it. It's just little, things I pick up over the time and kind of learn how to make knives more comfortable and more user friendly, at least in my opinion. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you know about anybody else who has this. No stores have it yet. It's still, waiting to be supplied, or some stores actually say discontinued. I don't know why. I think it's just some term that certain online stores use for not being available yet, but it wasn't made before. It's like the first. And what was it? The serial number I have is 462. This is gonna be this is like a sprint run kinda. What is it called? Limited edition they call it. It's gonna be limited edition. This is limited edition of the regular 770 with aluminum handles, which is also a great little knife. It's like a knockout. I really like those. Those cheaper, like $50 to $100 Kershaw's, they're excellent knives. A lot of them are really good knives. So guys, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Take care, stay safe, and remember, don't cut yourself.